Welcome back to What's Cooking Today, the nation's food, wine, restaurant, and travel show. Michael Horn, Paul Stern on CRN Digital Talk Radio. All right, we've got T. Martin ready to go here, and Tori McPhail. They are at the Commander's Palace. T. Martin is the co-owner of the Commander's Palace in New Orleans, and Tori McPhail is the executive chef at Commander's Palace. We have them ready to go, Paul Stern?
Indeed we do. Gentlemen, welcome to the program.
Great to be with you all.
Good morning.
Oh.
All right, welcome to the show. Now, tell us a little bit about Commander's Palace first and foremost. This is a mainstay in New Orleans. This is kind of where it all began, did it not?
Well, we are actually celebrating our 130th birthday this year, so we have been at this for a while. But Commander's tries to be on the leading edge of what we call haute Creole cuisine here in New Orleans. So we like to think we're one of the many important parts of the community here, and hopefully a pretty darn good restaurant. I know this guy standing next to me cooks awfully well.
Tori McPhail, tell us about the cuisine.
Well, we just like my friend T said, we practice haute Creole cuisine. And so for me, I'm a huge fan of old antique cookbooks, and actually the one I'm reading right now dates back to 1890, called The Conundrum of Cooking. But for us, we try to really understand the history of what made this state so great and try to reinvent it every single day.
Where are you guys right now? There's a lot of noise going on. Are you like right in the middle of the
Sounds like you're in the galley.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're right in the middle of the Commander's kitchen today,
There to
preparing
go.
for a busy lunch. It's really an exciting time to be here in the city.
All right, so let's get right to it. We're hearing oil spill. We're hearing, tar and oil on the beach, and that's give us an update. What's happening there with the cleanup, the Gulf oil spill, and on the seafood and tourism?
Well, with the coastal communities, it is absolutely devastating, and our hearts really go out to all the folks and the families down there that are just having a real tough time dealing with their livelihood. But the reality here in the city is we're actually 90 miles away. And so I think the national perception is that we have oil going down Bourbon Street, and that couldn't be further from the truth. Actually, we've got just as many great varieties of fresh local seafood coming to market, and there's 5 government agencies that is inspecting for water quality and taking tissue samples to ensure that all the Gulf Coast seafood is safe and it is pristine and very healthy for everyone to enjoy.
So we should rest assured when we go to the store, we go to the restaurants and order seafood, that this is being tested each and every day. Nothing goes to our plate without someone saying, this is good stuff.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. None of us want to deal with what's happening directly under that oil slick. The reality is there's a huge buffer zone around that. The FDA, along with other organizations, are ensuring that as the closures come and go into effect, that we're just trying to serve as much local great stuff as we possibly can. Out of all the tests, nothing has come back tainted. The stuff that is going to market is pristine, it's beautiful, and it's an exciting time to eat great local seafood here in New Orleans.
So you're getting great local seafood, the shrimp, the crawfish, the crabs, all that stuff. What about oysters?
Well, oysters are a little tougher to come by. Ends up that about half of our oyster beds are still open here in Louisiana, but those beds end up being a little bit smaller. And really, it's kind of a day-to-day kind of a thing. We're not always going to have local Louisiana oysters, and when those days happen, we ship the fresh crab meat or fresh soft-shell crabs, fresh yellowfin tuna. There's still plenty to be able to go around, but you're right. It's a little tougher to get the same product day in and day out.
So take us through like the menu at Commander's Palace. I know it's rich in seafood, but give us an idea, if someone has not been to Commander's Palace, what they could expect.
Well, I just want people to come in and sit down and have a great time. Commander's has been around for only about 130 years.
Just 130, is that it?
That's right. And, for people that have come in maybe 4 years ago, 10 years ago, 30 years ago, you can still come in, sit down, have great dishes like turtle soup, pecan-crusted fish, and certainly the bread pudding souffle. But this is a fun restaurant. You can come in, get great, exciting food like tequila grilled lobster tacos. We can also do that with fresh, locally grown Creole tomatoes and some organic basil that we grow on our roof right upstairs. So certainly an exciting time to be here.
What is it about the mystique? Because I know that people, Mike, you're probably the same, that, whenever it comes time to go into New Orleans, it's always a trip to Commander's Palace is always on the card for something to do.
Well, that's music to my ears. I hope that's the case. But I think we try to focus on the whole experience. I mean, we're lucky to have Tori here in the kitchen, and we've had a long line of great chefs and a great team with him. But we also try to focus on the experience. And, we don't take ourselves too seriously here. I don't know if you've ever been to our jazz brunch or anything like that, but we we want you to have just a great dining experience, and if you can't have fun at brunch at Commander's, there's really something wrong with you.
T. Martin, I want to dine with you. T. Martin is here with us, the co-owner of New Orleans Commander's Palace. So is Tori McPhail, the executive chef. T, how did this whole Commander's Palace thing start? What did it 130 years ago? What happened?
Well, there was a guy named Emil Commander, hence the tacky name, I like to say. Anyway, everybody wants to know if it was some commander in the Army or something, but that was the man's name, and he was quite an entrepreneur. And so he started a bit of a bar 130 years ago, 1880, and then it became a restaurant. My family, the Brennan family, my mom and her siblings bought it in 1969, and at that time it had fallen on hard times, is the polite way we like to say that, with a lot of red block wallpaper all over and just a big, heavy restaurant. Now I think it's a very today restaurant, and our generation is running it, and we're having a darn good time down here. Are you all due for a visit anytime soon?
We are due for a visit. We're going to come and broadcast. You call us. We'll set up a broadcast. Are you associated with some of the other Commander's Palaces? I know there's like one in Las Vegas. Is that part of the whole concept, or is that separate?
No, that is our family. We actually don't have that one there right now. That hotel changed out, but Tori and I were in Vegas just in the last couple of weeks, and we are looking to be back out there. And we do have a Commander's in Destin, and we have some restaurants in Houston as well.
Oh, yeah, get that one back. I loved when I went to Vegas. I always went to that Commander's Palace.
Yeah, that was all part of that old Aladdin Hotel thing that now I think is called Planet Hollywood.
We want to be back out there.
Yeah, that's right. It's a Planet Hollywood. They don't know a decent restaurant when they see one. Yeah, we want you back there. And so where are your locations? All around the country? Is there a website we can find more information?
You can go to commanderspalace.com, and it'll tell you what you need to know. And here in New Orleans, we've got Cafe Adelaide and the Swizzle Stick Bar, which I should tell you, right now in New Orleans, we have a cocktail convention. You may have heard we serve adult beverages here in New Orleans.
Yes, so Taste of the Cocktail. We covered that one year.
Yeah, Tales of the Cocktail is an absolute blast. But it's a serious subject. And, you know, the cocktail was invented here in New Orleans. A lot of people like to say that New Orleans' greatest contribution to the world was jazz, but my theory is that if we hadn't brought cocktails to the world, maybe we would have never had jazz. So the cocktail convention, and we also have a museum, the Museum of the American Cocktail, all that's going on, as well as the whole festival season right now.
I'm saying the best restaurants and the best owners and chefs are in New Orleans. I got to tell you, they really, everybody's got to go to New Orleans. What a fun town to go to. What's your signature cocktail there, T. Martin?
Well, I think the city of New Orleans has a signature cocktail, and it's the Sazerac, which was, in fact, the original cocktail served with bitters. And when you come down, I'll make you a good one, because there's a lot of bad ones in the world.
What's the cocktail called?
It's called a Sazerac.
Sazerac.
Yes, made with rye whiskey and some bitters.
Give us the website one more time.
commanderspalace.com.
T. Martin and Chef Tori McPhail, thanks for being with us. We'll hear from you more, I'm sure, on What's Cooking. Thanks for being here. Attention diners. Restaurants throughout Fullerton, California are participating in the inaugural Fullerton Restaurant Week, Sunday, August 1st through the 7th. The event is presented by the Fullerton Chamber of Commerce, and the restaurants will be offering special and prefix